I stabbed the knife into the cake with such force that the blade skidded off the plate and sliced a thin gash across my palm. Blood mixing with the buttercream frosting as my husband's eyes widened in the crowd. No one noticed, not my mother, who was already cooing over the acceptance letter my brother had just whipped out like a goddamn magic trick. Nor my father, whose booming laugh drowned out the faint drip of my crimson drops onto the checkered tablecloth. In that split second, as the sting hit me harder than any contraction ever could, I realized this was it. The moment I'd been quietly unraveling for years. The betrayal I'd carried like a tumor. And tonight, under the twinkling lights of my own baby shower, I'd finally let the poison seep out. It was supposed to be my day. 8 months pregnant with our first, mine and Jake's, after 3 miscarriages that had carved hollows into my soul that no amount of therapy could fill. We'd planned it meticulously in our cramped 2-bedroom in suburban Philly. The kind of neighborhood where everyone pretends their lawns are greener but everyone's drowning in debt and resentment. Jake had surprised me with the venue, Mom and Dad's sprawling backyard in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The one they'd bought back when Dad was still climbing the corporate ladder at that soul-sucking insurance firm. "It'll be perfect," he'd said, kissing my forehead that morning. "Your folks will finally see how far you've come without their golden boy's shadow."
Huh.
If only. The shower started sweet enough. The way these things do in America. Women in pastel sundresses milling around with mimosa flutes. Mine was sparkling cider. Of course. Aunts pressing foil-wrapped casseroles into my hands like talismans against the chaos of new motherhood. There was a diaper cake towering on the gift table, absurdly phallic in its layers of Pampers, and a playlist of soft indie folk that Jake had curated to keep things mellow. My best friend, Lena, from the graphic design gig I freelanced out of our dining room, had shown up early with a custom onesie embroidered with "Future Badass" in glittery thread. "For the kid who's gonna kick ass like their mom," she'd whispered, hugging me tight enough to make my belly bump hers. I was glowing. Or so everyone said. 32 years old. Finally stable after scraping by on student loans and waitressing shifts through my 20s. Now with a steady remote job editing podcasts for a true crime network. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. And for the first time, I felt like I was building something real. Something mine. The ultrasound pics were pinned to the fridge inside our little girl, thumb in her mouth, oblivious to the storm brewing. Then Ethan arrived. My brother, the prodigal son. 25 and still coasting on that boyish charm that had always bent the world to his will. He sauntered in late, as always, with a bottle of Veuve Clicquot swinging from one hand and that smirk plastered on like it was permanent.
Tall.
Broad-shouldered, with Dad's jawline and Mom's blue eyes, the kind of all-American golden retriever vibe that made professors overlook his half-assed essays and girls forgive his ghosting texts. He dropped out of community college after 1 semester, citing creative differences, but somehow parlayed that into a string of odd jobs. Barista, Uber driver, now apparently some nebulous startup consultant gig that sounded like code for mooching off trust fund buddies in New York.
Ethan.
There he is, Mom squealed, abandoning the punch bowl to envelop him in a hug that lifted him off his heels. Dad clapped him on the back. The sound like a thunderclap. "'Bout time you showed.
Kid.
We were starting to think you'd bailed for another one of your adventures." Ethan grinned, popping the cork with a flourish that sent foam arcing over the grass. "Wouldn't miss Iris's big night." "Congrats. Sis, gonna be a hell of a mom." He leaned in for a cheek kiss, but his eyes flicked to my belly like it was an inconvenient speed bump. I forced a smile, the one I'd perfected over years of family dinners where his stories always eclipsed mine. The games kicked off, pin the pacifier on the baby, guess the candy in the jar, and for a blissful half-hour,
It was about me.
Jake fielded the dad jokes with ease, his hand steady on the small of my back. And I even laughed when Aunt Rita guessed I'd pop out twins. But then, as we gathered for the cake cutting, Ethan cleared his throat like he was about to deliver the State of the Union. "Hey, everyone," he said, voice carrying that easy confidence, the one that made you lean in despite yourself. "Got some news I can't hold back anymore. Especially not on a night like this." He pulled the envelope from his back pocket, crisp and official, the Princeton crest gleaming under the string lights. They said yes. Full ride. Starting fall, the backyard erupted. Mom burst into tears, clutching the letter like it was the Dead Sea Scrolls. "Oh my God. Ethan, Princeton? Our boy at Princeton." Dad pumped his fist, yelling, "That's my son. Ivy League blood. Baby." Cousins swarmed him, phones out for pics. The playlist forgotten as someone cranked up "Eye of the Tiger" on their Bluetooth speaker.
And me?
Standing there with the knife in my blood-slick hand, the cake untouched, my belly a lead weight. No one saw the cut. No one heard the gasp I swallowed. The baby shower banner, "It's a girl, Iris's little miracle," flapped limply in the breeze. Already yesterday's news. That was the hook, the gut punch that sent me spiraling back to the beginning. Because this wasn't just about one stolen spotlight. This was the culmination of a lifetime of Ethan's shadows swallowing my light, and the buried secret that had chained me to silence for over a decade. The one where I'd taken the fall for him, let my dreams bleed out so his could flourish. The one that started in the sticky heat of a New Jersey summer when we were kids, and ended, tonight, with me realizing revenge wasn't a choice anymore. It was the only air I could breathe. It had always been Ethan. From the day he was born, 3 years after me, Mom and Dad's miracle boy after her string of miscarriages. Ironic that, given my own losses, I was the big sister, the responsible one. The girl who alphabetized the spice rack at 7 and volunteered at the animal shelter by 12. Ethan was chaos incarnate, climbing the roof to test gravity, hot-wiring the neighbor's golf cart for joyrides, charming his way out of juvie threats with a wink and a sob story. But they loved him for it. "Boys will be boys," Dad would chuckle, while I got grounded for AB+ in algebra. "He's got potential. Iris. You just keep being the steady one."
Steady.
That's what they called it when I covered for him at 15. When he snuck out to that party in Camden and came home reeking of weed and regret. I lied to Mom, said I'd smelled it on the laundry, took the week-long grounding without complaint.
Steady.
When I forged his college app essays at 18, fresh out of high school with my own acceptances to Temple and Rutgers gathering dust, because he just needs a push. Honey, he got into a state school on deferment. I deferred mine to work doubles at the diner, sending him cash for textbooks he never cracked. But the real knife, the one that twisted deepest, was the summer I turned 20. Ethan was 17, cocky as hell, dating that girl from the swim team, Becca, who looked at him like he hung the moon. They threw a rager at our house while Mom and Dad were at some conference in Atlantic City. I was home from my gap year job, crashing on the couch after a 12-hour shift, when the cops showed up at 3 a.m. Noise complaint turned into a search when one of the uniforms spotted the bong on the kitchen counter. Ethan panicked, hid in my closet, whispering through the slats, "Iris,
Please. Thou is yours."
I can't get busted again, probation from that shoplifting thing. Shoplifting. Yeah. The earrings he'd borrowed from the mall. The ones I'd pawned my necklace to bail him out of. And the bong? Stuffed with enough green to qualify as intent to distribute in Jersey back then. I could have let him rot. But I didn't. I stepped forward, hands shaking, and said it was mine. For the weed, for the party, for everything. They hauled me in, fingerprints and all, while Ethan slunk out the back like a ghost. The charge stuck, possession with intent, felony on my record before I could even vote. Community service, probation, a plea deal that killed any shot at financial aid for college. Mom cried, but it was relief, not sorrow. We'll fight this, baby. Ethan's just a kid. He needs you strong. Dad nodded, wrote the check for my lawyer, then turned around and funded Ethan's fresh start semester abroad in Spain. A semester he spent clubbing, not studying. I swallowed it all. Built my life in the ruins, community college night classes while slinging coffee. Then that podcast gig that let me work from home when the miscarriages hit. Jake found me in the wreckage. Loved the fighter in me. Promised we'd make our own family. And we did. Or we were trying.
Now.
Watching him preen under the lights, envelope aloft like a trophy, I felt the old wound rip open. Princeton.
How?
He'd flunked out of 2 schools already. Racked up debt he never paid. But there it was, real as the scar on my palm. And as Mom steered the toast his way, to Ethan, our Princeton pride, I slipped away to the guest bathroom, locking the door against the cheers. In the mirror, my reflection stared back, swollen ankles, stretch marks like lightning under my dress, eyes hollow from the weight of it all. The baby kicked, a sharp jab under my ribs. Not yet, kiddo, I whispered, pressing a hand to the spot. Mommy's got unfinished business. That's when the plan crystallized. Not some cartoonish vendetta, no poison in his champagne or tires slashed under the stars. No, mine would be surgical, American as apple pie and a civil lawsuit, the slow bleed of truth, the unraveling of his perfect lie. Because buried under that acceptance letter was the forgery I'd done for him last year. The one that scrubbed his record clean enough for Ivy eyes. The one where I'd signed away another piece of my soul, posing as his character reference with a fabricated backstory of his overcoming adversity. Adversity. Like shoplifting and dropped classes were badges of honor. I washed the blood from my hand, bandaged it with toilet paper, and stepped back into the fray. Jake found me by the punch bowl, concern etching his brow. You okay? Saw the cut. Fine, I lied, forcing that steady smile. Just a little slip. Ethan's news is huge. He searched my face, then pulled me close. We'll talk later. This is your night. But it wasn't. Not anymore. As the party devolved into Ethan's impromptu Q&A, yeah, Princeton scouted me after that viral pitch video. I nursed my cider and plotted. Step 1. Dig up the emails. The ones where he'd begged me to fix his apps, promising he'd change. Step 2. Anonymous tips to the admissions board. Whispers of fraud that would make them scrutinize every line. Step 3. The real gut punch. Tell Mom and Dad the truth about that night 15 years ago.
The bong. The lie.
The life I lost so he could shine. By midnight, as guests trickled out and Ethan crashed on the couch with a beer in hand, I sat on the porch swing with Jake, stars pricking the Jersey sky. I need to do something, I confessed. Voice low. About him. About all of it. Jake squeezed my hand. Then do it. But promise me, no regrets. For you? For her. He nodded at my belly.
No regrets.
Fat chance. But as the first contraction rippled through me, not the real ones, just a Braxton Hicks warning, I knew this revenge would birth something monstrous. Or maybe, finally,
Free.
the next morning dawned gray and drizzly. The kind of Pennsylvania November that seeps into your bones and makes you question every life choice. I woke in my old twin bed, the one with the faded floral duvet from high school. Jake snoring softly beside me on the air mattress we'd inflated in the guest room. Mom had insisted we stay, family bonding after the big news, but it felt more like a siege. Downstairs, the clatter of pans signaled breakfast, and Ethan's voice boomed through the floorboards, recounting his Princeton coup to Dad over coffee. I slipped into the bathroom, peed on a stick out of habit, nope, still pregnant, and stared at the faint pink line that mocked me. 30 weeks. Viable, the OB had said last checkup, but every twinge felt like a countdown. I splashed water on my face,
Avoiding the mirror this time.
no need to see the war paint cracking. By the time I waddled down, the kitchen was a shrine to Ethan, the acceptance letter laminated and propped on the fridge like a state fair ribbon. His high school yearbook opened to his swim team page. Mom fluttered around, humming Sinatra, plating scrambled eggs with chives, your favorite, Ethan dear, while Dad scrolled Zillow on his tablet, muttering about upgrading the old place now that you're ivy-bound. Morning, Iris, Mom said, barely glancing up. Sleep okay? Baby keeping you up? Like clockwork, I replied, pouring cereal I had no appetite for. Jake mumbled a hello, kissing my temple before vanishing to the garage for some air. Smart man. Ethan sprawled at the table, phone in hand, liking comments on his Insta post, Princeton pride with a shirtless gym selfie that screamed, try hard. Sis, you gotta see this, alumni group already hitting me up for the tour. He slid the phone over, expectant. I glanced. Comments poured in, legend from old flames. So proud from strangers. One from Becca, his ex, heart eyes emoji. No mention of the shower. No tag for me. Congrats, I said, voice flat as the milk in my bowl. Must feel good. He leaned back, all teeth. Feels earned. Late nights. You know, grinding while others. He trailed off, waving vaguely.
At me?
At the world? Didn't matter. Dad chuckled. That's our boy. Iris. You remember when you applied to Rutgers?
Solid choice.
Practical. Ethan's shooting higher. Good for him. Practical. The word landed like a slap. Rutgers, which I'd never attended because of the felony that branded me unemployable for scholarships. Practical. Like the life I'd patched together from freelance scraps while Ethan found himself on Dad's dime. Mom set a plate in front of him. Eat up. Big dreams need fuel. To me, want some eggs? Hun? Or is it the nausea again? I'm good. I pushed the cereal away. Appetite soured. The baby shifted, a somersault that pinched my bladder. Actually, bathroom. Upstairs again. I locked myself in, breath ragged. This was it, the slow poison of favoritism. Drip by drip. Eroding the rock of family till it crumbled to sand.
But today,
I'd start the counterdrip. My laptop hummed to life on the vanity, Password protected folder blinking like a guilty conscience. EAPS 2024.
Inside.
The chain of emails from last spring, when Ethan had shown up at my door in Philly. Eyes red-rimmed. Rambling about one last shot at Princeton after his latest dropout. Iris. Please, he'd begged, pacing my living room while Jake was at work. They want references, character stuff. You're good at words, podcasts and all.
Just.
Embellish. Say I overcame some shit. The shoplifting was juvie.
Sealed.
Make it sound noble. Noble. I typed it up that night. After 2 glasses of wine, Ethan's resilience in the face of early setbacks, transforming personal challenges into fuel for growth. I'd attached my own resume as proof of family stability. Even forged a notary stamp from an online template because why not go all in? Sent it off with a prayer emoji. His reply, "You're the best sis ever." Oh, you big.
Big.
Like the Princeton tuition Dad was already Googling.
Now.
Fingers hovering over delete. I copied the thread to a thumb drive instead. Evidence. Step 1 complete. Next, research. I fired up a private browser. Typing Princeton admissions fraud policy. Pages loaded, 0 tolerance. Rescission of offers. Even criminal charges for forgery. My heart raced, a thrill laced with terror. This wasn't just payback, it was dismantling a myth. A knock rattled the door. Iris, you okay up there? Mom's voice, laced with that passive concern. Fine.
Just.
Resting. I minimized tabs. Flushed the toilet for effect. Downstairs. The convo had shifted to wedding plans. Ethan's buddy from the startup was tying the knot in the Hamptons. Invite extended. You should come. Iris, he said offhand. Bring Jake and the bump. Make it a family thing. I almost laughed. Family. Maybe. Busy with work. Dad snorted. Work? That podcast editing? Ethan's gig is real money. Consulting for tech brothers. Dad. Mom swatted him. Iris is doing great. Remote. Flexible for the baby. Great, Ethan echoed. But his eyes said different. Pity. Or worse. Dismissal. That's when I saw it, the flip. He leaned toward Mom. Voice dropping conspiratorial. Hey.
Ma.
Remember that time in Spain? The bull run? Nearly got gored. But I dodged like a pro. Laughter rippled. I excused myself to the porch. Rain pattering on the awning like accusatory fingers. Jake joined me minutes later, handing over a mug of herbal tea. They're insufferable. Want me to stage a diversion? Fake labor or something? I sipped. The warmth grounding. Tempting. But no. I need to handle this my way. He nodded. Trusting. That's what I loved about Jake. Blue-collar roots from Pittsburgh. Mechanics' hands that fixed Volvos by day and my broken pieces by night. No illusions about family. His own had splintered after his folks' divorce. Just say when. I'm in your corner. We spent the afternoon dodging small talk. Me feigning fatigue while scrolling fraud forums on my phone. By evening, as Mom prepped lasagna, celebratory dinner, I slipped into Dad's study. His desk was a time capsule, faded photos of us kids. Me in pigtails pushing Ethan's stroller. Him grinning toothless. A Princeton mug from some alumni event, never used. I snapped pics of the family Bible on the shelf, birth records. Maybe something buried there. But no. Just banal entries. Ethan found me there. Door creaking open. Hiding? Come on. Dinner's ready. Just reminiscing. I closed the drawer.
Heart pounding.
He lingered, that smirk fading to something sharper. Look, about last night. The announcement. Bad timing.
Huh?
Didn't mean to steal your thunder. Thunder. As if my pregnancy was a summer squall. His news a lightning storm. It's fine. Water under the bridge. Is it? He stepped closer. Voice low. You've been weird since. Like,
Glary griega.
if it's jealousy. Jealousy. The word ignited. Of what? Your ability to fail upward while I scrape by on the scraps you leave. His face hardened. The golden boy mask slipping. Scraps? I clawed for this. Applications. Interviews. With my help, it slipped out. A hiss. He froze. Then laughed. Low and ugly. Help? You mean that reference? Come on. Iris. Everyone embellishes. Embellishes. Right. I turned away. But he grabbed my arm, not hard, but enough to jolt. Listen.
Drop it.
For family. His eyes flicked to my belly. Think of the kid. Stress isn't good. Threat or warning. The flip again. Charm to edge in a heartbeat. I yanked free, storming past him to the dining room, where plates steamed and wine flowed.
Dinner was a minefield.
Toasts to Ethan. Questions about dorms and majors, undecided. But leaning econ, big money. I picked at my food. Contractions, teasing like false alarms, until Mom turned to me. Iris, tell us about the nursery. Colors? Theme? Saved by the Bell. Or so I thought. Soft blues. Woodland animals. Jake's building the crib. Nice. Ethan cut in. Practical. Like you. Dad beamed.
See?
Team effort. I excused early, claiming exhaustion. Jake trailing. In bed. I unloaded the emails, the plan, the arm grab. He listened, then pulled me close. Email the admissions office. Anonymously. Let the chips fall. Chips like his expulsion, Mom and Dad's heartbreak, or truth. You've carried this long enough. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of bombs and ivy gates slamming shut. Morning brought worse, a text from Ethan. Coffee run? Talk. Against better judgment, I met him at the corner Starbucks. Rain slicking the windows. He slid a venti latte over, decaf. Thoughtful touch. Iris. Last night. I was a dick. Blame the champagne. Forgiven. Liar.
Good.
'Cause I need a favor. Here it came. The reference, you nailed it. But Princeton wants a follow-up call. Family vouch.
Can you?
The gall. Me? After. It's quick. 10 minutes. For old times. Old times. Me in cuffs. Him free.
No. Ethan.
Figured out. His jaw ticked. Suit yourself. But family's family.
Right?
Blood. Blood, I echoed.
Standing.
Like the kind I spilled for you. Outside. Rain soaked me as I walked back. Thumb drive burning in my pocket. That night. From a VPN in Philly, homebound after a fake appointment, I drafted the email. Potential fraud in application of Ethan last name. Attached, redacted emails. Timestamped. Sent to the ethics hotline. No return address. The wait began. A week of radio silence from Jersey. Then the call, Mom. Voice cracking. Iris? Ethan's. They revoked it. Something about discrepancies. He's devastated. Guilt twisted. Sharp as the knife.
What?
How? We don't know. But he's innocent. You know him. Did I? As contractions ramped, real ones now. 2 weeks early, I whispered to the baby, "Hold on.
Love.
Mommy's just getting started." Labor hit like a freight train at 2 a.m., 2 weeks shy of due date. The kind of premature punch that lands you in the NICU ward with monitors beeping like accusatory Morse code. Jake white-knuckled the wheel from Philly to Jefferson Hospital in Center City, rain sheeting the windshield as I gripped the oh-shit handle, cursing Ethan's name between breaths.
That.
Little. Shit's fault, I gasped, a contraction clamping down like a vice. Stress. Induced. Focus on breathing. Babe, Jake coached, voice steady as rebar. But his eyes in the rearview betrayed the fear. Our girl. Lily Weed named her after my gran, fighting for every inch in there. The ER swallowed us whole. Fluorescent hell. Nurses in scrubs barking vitals. An epidural that numbed the pain but not the rage. By dawn, she was out, C-section swift and sterile, tiny, 4 pounds 11 ounces. Lungs too immature for cries. Just mules that shredded me. They whisked her to the isolette, tubes snaking like accusations, while Jake held my hand, whispering, "She's a fighter. Like you." I believed him. Mostly. Stitched up and doped on painkillers, I stared at the ceiling tiles, counting cracks like sins. Ethan's fraud bomb had dropped 3 days prior. Mom's call had been the detonator.
Now.
In this limbo of beeps and blue gowns, the fallout crept in via texts, Dad's curt call us, Ethan's radio silence. Lena's WTF happened? I didn't call.
Couldn't.
Lily's vitals stabilized by evening, Apgar 7. Breathing room air, and they wheeled me to the NICU, a glassed-in nursery of miracles and heartbreaks. There she was, under bilirubin lights like a jaundiced elf, fists balled in defiance. I pressed my palm to the plastic, willing strength through the barrier. Jake crashed in the vinyl recliner,
But sleep evaded me.
By midnight, the plan evolved. Revoking Princeton was round 1, a jab to the ego. Round 2, the deeper cut, exhuming the felony I'd shouldered. Not for charges, statute long gone, but for the narrative flip. Let them see the boy who'd let his sister rot for his freedom. Let the family myth bleed out. First, though, survival. Days blurred, pumping milk in a curtained corner. Jake smuggling in Wawa hoagies. Neonatologist rounds with jargon like surfactant and retinopathy. Lily gained ounces. Pinked up. But every alarm spiked my cortisol. On day 4, Mom and Dad arrived unannounced. Faces drawn like bad debts. Iris. Mom's hug was bone-crushing. Dad hovering awkward with a balloon bouquet. Pink. Deflating already. We had to see her. And you. Jake stiffened beside me, but I waved him off. She's stable. Preemies bounced back. Dad cleared his throat. About Ethan. It's a mess. Admission says irregularities in docs. He's appealing, but save it. The words slice clean. Nurses glanced. I lowered my voice. I know about the reference. I wrote it. Mom's eyes widened. You? But why? Because he asked. Like always. I shifted. incision tugging. And I said yes. Like always. For family. Dad rubbed his neck. Well,
That's
helpful. For the appeal. Can you?
no.
Final. Like a gavel. No more fixing. Silence thickened. Then Mom's tears. This isn't like you. Iris. Ethan's destroyed. Princeton was his shot at.
His shot, I echoed. What about mine?
The one I lost because of him. They blinked.
Blank.
Jake's hand found mine. Anchor. What do you mean? Dad pressed. The dam cracked. In hushed tones. Between Lily's monitor pips. I spilled it, the party, the bong. My lie to the cops. Ethan's whispers from the closet. My cuffs clicking shut. The plea. The record. The dreams deferred, college. Grad school. A career untainted. I did it for him. For you. So he'd have a chance. Mom gasped. Hand to mouth. Dad paled. Sinking into the visitor chair. Jesus. Iris. Why didn't you say? Because you wouldn't have believed me. Bitter truth. Golden boy doesn't screw up that bad. Steady Iris takes the hit. They protested, hugs. Apologies tumbling like loose change, but it rang hollow. Ethan's text buzzed then. Heard about the baby. Coming to see her. Family. Right? I deleted it.
No.
Not yet. He showed anyway. That evening. Slipping in like contraband. Towering in the doorway. Flowers in hand, cheesy daisies, face a mask of contrition. Iris. Hey. Jake bristled. Not now. It's cool. I waved him back. 5 minutes. Ethan approached the isolette, peering at Lily like a lab specimen.
She's small. Tough.
Though, like her aunt, I watched him. The flip already brewing, remorse to deflection. About Princeton. He set the flowers down. I know you sent the tip. Why? Truth serum of exhaustion. Because I'm done. Done covering. Done losing. His jaw clenched. That reference? It was mutual. You needed the gig money. I hooked you up with my buddy's firm. Lie. But doubt flickered. Had he? Vague memory of a check last year. Consult fee that I'd used for crib deposit. Swear. He leaned closer. And the old shit? That party? I was a kid.
Scared.
You were the hero.
Hero.
The word twisted. Heroes don't get felonies. Mom hovered then, pulling him aside for whispers. Dad joined. A huddle excluding me. Jake shot me a look. Abort? But I pressed. Tell them. Ethan. About the bong. My record. He stiffened.
Now?
Here?
Yes.
Now. The flip came swift. Eyes narrowing. Voice a whip. You're really doing this? Throwing me under for spite? While your kid's fighting. Lily mewled. Sensors beeping protest. Guilt surged. Hot and vile. Was I poisoning the air she breathed? Mom turned. Eyes pleading. Iris. Please. Not like this. I wavered. The room spun, pain meds. Hormones. The weight of blood ties. Go, I whispered to Ethan. Just go.
He did.
Flowers wilting on the sill. But as the door clicked shut, resolve hardened. Round 3, the public peel back. Ethan's Insta empire. His overcoming adversity narrative, I'd shatter it. Anonymous account. Screenshots. A thread dropping truths like breadcrumbs. That night, Jake helped. Post it or hold. Post. Fingers flew. VPN shield up. Ethan last name. The real story behind the facade. Thread. 1/10. Screenshots of emails. Blurred for legals. The party lie. Anonymized. He let his sister take a felony rap at 20. She lost college, jobs, everything. Now he's ivy-bound on forged wings. Hits climbed. 50, 200, 1,000 by morning. Comments erupted. Family betrayal trending local. Reporters sniffing. Hospital discharge came day 7. Lily bundled in a car seat fortress. Home to our apartment with a nurse's visit scheduled. Mom called daily. Ethan's suicidal. Iris.
Therapy.
Please. Take it down. Suicidal. The word chilled. Was it bluff? Or my doing? I didn't. Instead, I nursed Lily in the rocker. Her latch fierce. And whispered plans. The climax brewed. A family summit. Jersey style. Dinner at neutral ground. Olive Garden or something trite. Force the confrontation. Make him confess on record. Controversial? Hell yes. Mom and Dad would fracture. Blame me for the bomb. Him for the fuse.
No héroes.
Just shrapnel. But Ethan flipped first. A week post-discharge. He showed at our door. Uninvited. Eyes wild. You win. It's down the appeal. But this? He thrust a USB at me. Insurance. Jake blocked him.
Out.
Wait. I took it. Trembling. Files. My consult fee check. Annotated. Laundered from his startup scam. Audio clip. Me. Voice slurred on wine. Dictating the reference lies.
See?
We're both dirty. The twist gutted. I'd played myself, complicit, not victim. As he sauntered off, laughing bitter, I plugged in. Proof. I'd known the scam. Taken the cut. For Lily's crib. For stability. Rage morphed to nausea. Was revenge just mirrored betrayal? The USB burned a hole in my laptop bag for days. A digital scarlet letter I couldn't unsee. Lily's homecoming had been a blur of midnight feedings and burp cloths. Jake tag-teaming with me through his shop shifts. But that drive-through piece shattered under the weight of Ethan's insurance. Complicit. The word echoed in the shower steam, in the hum of the white noise machine as Lily dozed. I'd taken his dirty money, woven myself into the fraud web. Revenge? Or just another layer of the family rot? I confronted the mirror one frostbitten morning. Circles under my eyes like bruised plums. You're still doing this, I told my reflection. For her. Lily cooed from the bassinet. Oblivious. Her tiny chest rising steady. The thread I'd posted had gone viralish. 10K retweets. Local news pickup. Philly woman's explosive claim. Brother's Ivy dream built on lies. Ethan's account scrubbed clean. His startup buddies ghosting. Mom's voicemails a litany of pleas. He's broken. Iris.
Come home.
Fix us. Fix us. As if I were the glue, not the fracture. Jake found the USB that afternoon. Mid-diaper change. What's this? Blackmail. I handed it over. Voice flat. He scanned, jaw setting like concrete. Call the cops? On myself?
No. It's Gray.
Gray gets you audited.
Babe.
Or worse. He paced. Our shoebox living room too small for his agitation. Pull the thread. Walk away. Can't. Not after the bong. That's black and white. He stopped. Eyes soft. Is it? 15 years.
Kid stuff.
Let karma handle. Karma. American as it gets. Retribution without the mess. But as Lily fussed, rooting for milk, I knew mess was my middle name. The summit I called for Black Friday. Neutral turf, a diner off the turnpike in Edison, vinyl booths and bottomless Joe. The kind of place where truckers hash out divorces over hash browns. Mom picked it, less pressure than home, but tension crackled like static on the jukebox. They arrived first, parents in the corner booth. Ethan slouched beside, hoodie up like a fugitive. No golden glow, he looked hollowed, stubble shadowing that perfect jaw. Iris. Mom rose, arms out, but I sidestepped into the seat opposite, Jake flanking me like a Secret Service detail.
Dad.
Ethan. Neutral. Lily stayed with Lena, too risky for this powder keg. Dad stirred his coffee. Rings clinking mug. Thanks for coming.
We need to.
Air this. Air it. Like dirty laundry at a laundromat. I nodded. Menu unopened. Start with the truth. Ethan? He met my gaze. Flip mid-swing. Defiance to defeat.
Fine.
The party.
Yeah.
I hid. You covered. I was scared shitless. Cops. Juvie again. Thought it'd blow over. Blew over for you. Bitter. Not me. Mom interjected. We didn't know.
Honey.
If we had. You wouldn't have. I cut her off. Because he's the boy. The future. I'm the fixer. Dad winced. That's not fair. We pushed you both. Pushed. Laughter escaped.
Sharp.
You funded his dropouts. His adventures.
Mine?
Practical jobs. Ethan shifted. I paid you back. The check. Which was fraud money. I slapped the USB on the Formica. Your insurance. We're both in it now. His eyes widened, bluff called. You wouldn't. Would. The waitress hovered. We ordered, pancakes all around, uneaten props. Mom teared up. Stop. This family's imploding. Ethan's lost Princeton. Friends calling him a fraud. And your record. We can expunge now. Lawyers on it. Expunge. 20 years late.
Great.
But the damage. Dad leaned in. What do you want? Iris? Money? Apology? Confession. I nodded at Ethan. Public. The whole story, Bong. Reference.
All.
Clear my name. He barked a laugh. Public? Like your thread? That's why I'm toxic now. No job. No girl. Becca blocked me. Good. Petty. But true. The flip hit. Anger flaring. You think you're saint? Taking my cash. Lying on forms? Hypocrite. Jake tensed. Watch it. Truth hurts. Ethan sneered. You hated your life, miscarriages. Dead-end job. My win was your out. Jealousy.
Pure.
Jealousy. The accusation landed, stirring the mud. Had it been? Those dark months after the third loss. Scrolling Ethan's posts from Spain, beaches. Girls. Freedom, I'd seethed. Not just for me, but for the what-ifs. What if I'd gone to college? Built something unscarred? Mom gasped. Ethan, but he doubled down. Cunning surfacing. Admit it. You sent the tip to feel big. Now look, baby early. Family's wrecked. Hero? The booth erupted. Dad yelling enough. Mom sobbing into napkins. Jake half-standing. I sat frozen. The diner spinning, greasy spoons and faded Americana posters blurring. Controversial decisions? This was the vortex, where right and wrong tangled like extension cords. Was I avenging? Or avenging my own failures onto him? Meeting over. I stood, chair scraping. Confess or don't. But I'm done bleeding for you.
Outside.
Turnpike traffic roared. Semis whooshing past like judgments. Jake drove. Silent till Jersey Turnpike, mile marker 92. You okay?
No.
Tears hot. He flipped it on me. Made me the villain. You're not. Firm. But. Maybe pause. For Lily.
Pause.
The word tempted. A ceasefire in the war. Back home. I archived the thread. Went dark online. Days stretched. Holiday lights twinkling in Philly row houses. Black Friday sales I ignored. Lily's first smile. A gummy miracle that pierced the gloom. Then Christmas Eve. Ethan's flip again. A package on our stoop. No note. Inside, the family Bible. Dog-eared to my birth page. Tucked between leaves, a letter. His scrawl. Iris, you win. Here's the truth. Ma and Dad know everything now. I confessed. Cops too. Old case reopened. My juvie unsealed. Your record? They're petitioning pardon. My statement attached. The check? I reported it. IRS sniffing my startup. We're both fucked.
But fair. Sorry.
For all. Attached. Affidavit. Notarized. His signature.
Shaky.
Public record link. Ethan's plea. Detailing the party lie. The forgery beg. I sank to the floor. Lily in my lap. Bawling, not pain. But release? A shock. The climax I'd craved. Served cold. Mom called that night. He told us. Iris.
All. We're processing.
But proud of you. Of her.
Proud. First time.
But as midnight mass chimes echoed from the church steeple. Doubt gnawed. Ethan's confession, genuine redemption. Or masterstroke, to flip the blame back. Ruin shared. Not shouldered. And me? Free. But scarred. New Year's dawned crisp and unforgiving. The kind of Philadelphia winter that bites through Carhartt coats and straight to the grudges you can't shake. Lily thrived, 5 pounds now. Chubby cheeks like Jake's. Eyes mine, storm gray and watchful. We rang in the year on our fire escape. Bottle of non-alcoholic bubbly popped. Watching fireworks stutter over the Schuylkill. To fresh starts, Jake toasted, clinking plastic flutes. But fresh, mine felt scabbed, itching under the bandage of Ethan's confession. The affidavit hit public waves mid-January. A ripple in the local rags. Brother comes clean in family fraud saga. Sister's long-buried sacrifice revealed. Comments split like fault lines. She's a saint. Good on her. Versus both toxic, family drama porn. Debates flared on Reddit threads. Podcasters, ironic. Given my job, dissecting the ultimate sibling smackdown. No one clean. Me for the money take. Him for the lies. Parents for the blind eyes. The gray zone Jake warned of, readers picking sides. arguing ethics over eggnog. Ethan vanished post-Christmas, texted once. In rehab. Voluntary. Figured I owed myself that. Mom confirmed. 30 days. Minimum. Our treat. Their treat. The irony curdled. Dad's follow-up. Pardon petition filed. Pro bono lawyer from his firm. Could take months. But it's moving. Months. I nodded into the phone, Lily gnawing my knuckle. Thanks. Polite distance settled. A cold peace. No more summits. Just check-ins. Mom FaceTiming Lily's milestones. Dad wiring crib upgrades unasked. Ethan emerged end of February. Gaunt but steady. Posting sparingly. Black and white shots of AA meetings. Captions like Day 45. Owning my shit. His followers halved. But a new crowd trickled. Recovery influencers. True crime junkies hungry for the sequel. I ignored it. Dove into work. Editing a series on family annihilators. Voices droning about Betrayal's bloody end.
Fitting.
Lily hit 3 months. Rolling over on the playmat. Jake promoted to shop foreman, our life. Patchwork, but ours. Spring teased with crocuses in Rittenhouse Square. Walks where I push the stroller and breathe free. But twists don't tie neat bows. April Fools. A knock, Ethan. Sober suit. Lilies in hand, ironic flower. Can I see her? Jake eyed him from the door.
5.
Supervise. Inside. Awkward ballet. Him cooing at Lily on the rug. Me perched on the couch. Coffee cold. She looks like you, he said. Voice rough. Fighter eyes. Jeans. Neutral. He sat up. Knees cracking. Heard about the part.
Fastrecket. Yeah. Pause.
Thanks for the statement. Don't. He rubbed his neck. Flip absent, raw. For once. I should have from jump.
But.
Rehab cracked me open. Sponsor made me list debts. Yours topped.
Debts.
American Ledger. Sins tallied. Paid in installments. And the startup? IRS. Settle next month. Community service. Grin ghosted. Karma's a bitch. We talked then, real talk.
No barbs.
His rock bottom. Post-confession bender. Waking in a motel with a razor to his wrist. My lows. The miscarriages. Blaming fate, but seeing Ethan's shadow. I resented you, I admitted. Not just the lies. The ease.
Ease.
He barked soft. Faking it. Iris. Always. You were real, steady. I envied that. Envy.
Mirrored.
The controversial core. No villain. Just vessels cracked by the same flawed mold. He left with a hug, stiff, but held. Visit Jersey sometime? Mom misses you. Maybe. Door shut. I exhaled. Jake wrapped arms around. Redemption arc? Or con? But doubt leaned toward grace. The pardon came May, sealed with a judge's stamp and a letter. In light of new evidence. Record expunged. May this close a painful chapter. I framed it. Not on the wall, but in a drawer reminder. Not trophy. Summer swelled. Lily's first beach trip to Wildwood. Boardwalk cotton candy sticking chins. Jake teaching her waves. Ethan texted sporadically, job at a nonprofit. Counseling dropouts. Paying forward, he'd say. Mom hosted a barbecue. Tentative truce, no spotlights. Just grill smoke and laughter. Ethan flipped burgers. I chased Lily in the grass. Parents watching with tentative pride. No toasts to futures, just presents. But the twist lingered. Debatable to the end. Fall. Princeton's matriculation pics flooded feeds, kids in orange hoodies. Ethan's ghost haunting the comments. A reporter emailed. Podcast pitch? Sibling revenge. Worth the wreckage. I declined. Some stories end mid-sentence. Yet, as leaves turned in Fairmount Park, Lily's first steps wobbly toward me. I wondered, happy or tragic, vengeance birthed truth. Scarred but standing. Family mended. Frayed threads rewoven loose. Ethan? Sober. Scarred. Maybe changed.
Me?
Unchained. But the weight echoed. In the quiet nights, rocking her to Hush Little Baby, I whispered the hook's echo. That cake knife. Blood and buttercream. Shocking start to a controversial close. No winners, just survivors. And in America's grind, betrayals buried, secrets exhumed. That's as close to grace as it gets.
Or is it?
Readers, you decide. Was my revenge justice? Or just another betrayal in disguise? The debate rages on, as it should. Because in the end, family's the ultimate twist. No neat lines. Just endless flips.